Hello, everyone. So this time I want to talk about Pinocchio, the story of Pinocchio, because I do like fairy tales. This is a classic story, but I'm not really resorting to the classic version from Collodi, an Italian author. I'm resorting to the Disney version that is a lot more known nowadays to everyone. And in this Disney version, you have Geppetto. He's a guy who works with wood, and he would really would like to have a son, and he doesn't. So he creates a puppet according to his wish. And of course, it's at the beginning, it's a puppet, but then we have the intervention of a blue fairy, actually a beautiful lady as usual, that comes and gives life to this puppet, and he becomes the famous Pinocchio. And along with it, he gets the company of a talking cricket that represents actually the voice of consciousness, of course. The cricket is there trying to advise him about how to really act nicely, how to be a nice being, but sometimes he's not going to listen, of course, during the story. So there is a moment when Pinocchio asks to go to school. He wants to learn, so he wants to evolve, to develop as a human being also. Geppetto allows that with some minor sacrifice from him, financially speaking. But when he goes to school, there is two deviant characters that do make a mess up with his life. They sort of deviate him into going to a fair that is full of appeal to the senses. And in there, he wants so much to go into a show that he sells the brand new books that Geppetto gave him so he can go there. Then what we see here eventually is that when he gets distracted by this fair, as a being, he's being attracted by all sorts of appeal to the senses represented by the fair. He gets lost by it to some extent. He also gets away from the voice of consciousness, the talking cricket. He sells his books, so he's sort of letting go of the quest for wisdom and knowledge before wisdom. And this is, of course, symbolic, quitting his books. He goes in there, but in there, he shows that he's still made out of wood, he's still a puppet, but he can dance and he can do things without strings. Because of that, he's captured by a guy that wants to exploit him. So that guy might represent, of course, the way we can become lost because of the appeal of the senses and the sensual experiences. And we can even get imprisoned by this world, the mundane world, and the ambition to have money and eventually fame and all that, because he was calling people's attention on himself when he was showing off in a way before. But then Pinocchio is able to escape, but he's trapped again. Someone else is going to fool him, and he's going to, because someone tells him that he can go to a place of pleasure, a sort of a pleasure island, and he succumbs to that appeal. So he's going there, but he's captured again. If you find out that he had been captured along with many other little boys. Well, in between this, we see during the story that whenever Pinocchio lies, his nose grows a lot. Well, growing of the nose to me brings to mind that our nose is connected to our emotional brain system, the limbic system, that is also called olfactory brain. It's really connected to the nose, and it's very primitive in our evolutionary story. So this represents to me, again, that the growing of the nose represents that I'm succumbing to the appeal from my animal nature. It's the easy way. And lying is going against ethics, and ethics is the side of the talking cricket. It's the deeper wisdom from inside that tells us to be in harmony with our soul and the collective soul and the world, so not doing nasty stuff. So each time he lies, his nose grows. Now this time, searching for pure pleasure, he gets in trouble because he notices that he's becoming an animal, a donkey, like what happened to the other little boys. To me, this represents the fact that as we become fully enticed by the senses and by the appeal for pleasure, we can, as Ram Dass said in the past, we can get caught. Our consciousness can get caught by the desire and by pleasure. And when this happens, we become, in a way, prisoners of our own animal nature. That's what starts happening to Pinocchio. But then he's able to escape again, and he actually manages to save Geppetto and by sacrificing himself. So he's sort of quitting being the animal. He's also even quitting his life to save another. So high ethics, an appeal from the inner soul, then he's really in tune with the cricket of consciousness. And because of that, the blue fairy appears again, and he transforms him into a real boy. He becomes fully human then. He becomes a full human consciousness living a nice life. And this is the happy ending of the story. He really becomes something else. He evolves, total human. He really asserted his consciousness and the deeper ethics. He becomes a real human. Well, this is my view on the story, and that's what I wanted to share today. So, as usual, if you like it, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back later.